Paris, 1822. The city sweltered in late summer heat. In a cramped study, Jean-François Champollion hunched over his notebook, trembling with anticipation. Suddenly, he saw it, the secret, the key. He seized his pen, feverish, unstoppable. Leaping up, he cried, "Je tiens l'affaire! I've got it!" In that instant, ancient Egypt's silent language stirred awake. Egypt, land of gold and dust, of river and desert. For millennia, its monuments had stood, silent, eternal. Hieroglyphs watched from the walls of temples, the faces of statues, the depths of tombs. The world saw them as mysterious pictures, a language lost to time. Each sign seemed to whisper secrets, but none could answer. The silence was heavy. Generations passed. Travelers and conquerors walked among the ruins, reading nothing. What stories had been carved there? What prayers, what laws, what dreams? The script that once called the gods was now a riddle, locked away from human understanding. Yet the hieroglyphs endured, stoic and proud. Wind and sand battered them. Time wore away color and detail. But the language held, waiting for a voice to read it again. An ancient promise lingered, a belief that someday someone would listen and answer. In the shadows of pyramids and the hush of the Nile, Egypt's language slept. But its power still throbbed beneath the stone, waiting for a champion. Hieroglyphs were born at the dawn of civilization. 5,000 years ago, as the first kings claimed the Nile, their scribes invented a script of wonder and reverence. Each glyph, a bird, a reed, a ripple, was more than a mark. It was a prayer, a spell, a fragment of the sacred. This script was Egypt's breath and heartbeat, shimmering on temple gates as the sun rose. Hieroglyphs curled along tomb walls, promising safe passage to eternity. They were Egypt's soul, written in stone. Hieroglyphs filled every corner of Egyptian life. In the bustling streets of Memphis and Thebes, scribes pressed reeds to papyrus, keeping records of grain, taxes and trade. On the banks of the Nile, craftsmen carved prayers for protection into amulets and charms. In the hush of temples, priests sang hymns, their words mirrored in glyphs that flickered by torchlight. On sarcophagi and tomb walls, hieroglyphs painted the journey through the afterlife. They spoke of Osiris and Isis, of judgment and resurrection. Pharaohs immortalized their achievements in stony proclamations, daring death to erase their names. Yet hieroglyphs were not just for the mighty. Lovers exchanged written vows. Children learned the sacred signs in schools. Merchants tallied accounts on scraps of pottery and papyrus. The script was both magical and practical, everyday and eternal. To read hieroglyphs was to unlock the world's deepest mysteries. To write them was to be a creator, a bridge between the human and the divine. But, empires fall. The tides of history are relentless. In the wake of Alexander the Great, Greek became the language of power in Egypt. Later, the Romans swept in, layering Latin over the sands. The old tongue, once living and sacred, began to fade. Centuries passed. The words of the pharaohs grew faint. Coptic, a new language, took root, an echo of Egyptian, written in Greek letters, but missing the magic of glyphs. The last temple scribe, Hor of Philae, carved his final prayer in 394 CE. After that, silence. The thread was broken. The world changed. Christianity swept the land, bringing new gods and new scripts. Ancient writing was condemned as pagan sorcery. Scrolls burned, stones were defaced. Within just a few generations, no one remembered how to read the old signs. Egypt's voice was lost. For nearly 2,000 years, the language slept. The stories and wisdom of an entire civilization were buried, waiting for a new dawn. Yet the world could not let go of Egypt's mystery. Arabs conquered the Nile and called its ruins the work of giants. They tried to read the glyphs as magic or code. Medieval travelers gaped at the monuments and copied the signs, hoping for a key. In the Renaissance, Europe's hunger for ancient wisdom grew. Scholars peered at obelisks and papyri, inventing wild theories. Some thought hieroglyphs were pure symbols, a lost language of angels. Others searched for hidden alphabets. Each failed attempt added to the legend. Still, the urge to understand persisted. The Rosetta Stone, unearthed by Napoleon's men in 1799, offered hope, a message in 3 scripts. But translation was a maze. For years, minds wrestled with clues, piecing together fragments of sense. Centuries of longing, frustration and wonder gathered like a storm on the horizon. Human curiosity refused to surrender. The past would not stay buried. Even in ignorance, hieroglyphs enchanted. Travelers to Egypt stood before the temples and tombs, spellbound by the strange, beautiful writing. Artists and poets saw the glyphs as messages from another world, shapes full of magic and promise. Europe's museums filled with mummies and stelae. The stones whispered stories, but none could truly hear. Egypt became a land of legend, its secrets locked and alluring. The more the world failed to read the glyphs, the more they seemed to guard hidden wisdom. Stories grew in the silence. Some claimed the glyphs hid prophecies. Others thought them mere decoration. Yet always, behind the theories, there was a hunger to touch the past, to reclaim what was lost. The silence of Egypt was profound, but it was not empty. It was a silence full of longing, of untold stories waiting for their voice. And then, that Paris night in 1822. Champollion's passion and genius broke the spell. With trembling hands, he matched Greek and Coptic to the stubborn signs. The Rosetta Stone's trilingual message revealed the secret hieroglyphs were not just symbols, they were a language with sounds, grammar and poetry. The world reeled. Suddenly, the stones could speak. The names of pharaohs, Rameses, Cleopatra, Thutmose, emerged from the dust. Prayers, poems, laws and letters bloomed into meaning. It was as if Egypt itself was reborn, speaking across the ages. Scholars rushed to temples and tombs, eager to read what had been hidden for centuries. The secrets of the Nile unfolded, stories of love, war, hope and faith. The dead were given back their names. The gods reclaimed their hymns. Champollion's victory was more than scholarly triumph. It was a resurrection, a restoration of memory, beauty and wonder. Today, the language of Egypt lives again. Hieroglyphs are taught in classrooms, studied by scholars and marveled at by millions. The ancient words echo through history, connecting us to people long gone, yet vividly alive in their stories. To unlock the glyphs was to restore not just a language, but a world. The wisdom of Egypt, the dreams of its kings and craftsmen, mothers and magicians, speaks anew. The script that once slept in stone now dances in the light of understanding. The epic tale of hieroglyphs reminds us knowledge can be lost but never destroyed. Human longing, curiosity and resilience will always seek to recover the past. One man's fevered night in Paris restored a civilization's voice. And in that there is a promise that the torch of memory once rekindled can never be truly extinguished.